Okay, hate is a strong word. I did exaggerate a bit, but I've just never been a fan of capsule wardrobes because I don't like the feeling of limiting myself, especially when it comes to style. But currently I am kind of forced into a situation where having a capsule wardrobe is going to prevent me from investing in a whole new wardrobe. So since finishing my 90-day style challenge from the summer of this year, and for those of you that don't know, I did a 90-day style and no-buy challenge throughout the months of June, July, and August. And I'll link the video up here if you want to hear more about what I've learned throughout the whole process. But since finishing that challenge, my main focus has been on building a maternity capsule wardrobe. Why? Because, like I said, I don't want to invest a ton of money into maternity-specific clothes. And I also figured I'll be pretty tired physically, and simplifying the whole process of getting dressed and not feeling overwhelmed or too frumpy all the time is probably going to be good for my mental health. So I've spent the month of September building a capsule wardrobe that's going to last me until the end of my pregnancy, which is going to be like late winter, possibly early spring. And I've stuck to my capsule since October, while I've also been making small tweaks here and there based on how my body is changing. So today I want to share with you what's been working well for me so far, what I would and wouldn't do if I had to do this all over again, and how I've tried to incorporate as much variety as possible into my wardrobe to make this whole capsule wardrobe experience a little less boring. Let me start with quickly going over all of the items that I've added to my capsule. I've got 3 underlayers, a black tank top, a white oversized tee, and this deep green scoop neck long sleeve, which is actually a Uniqlo heat tech. And then I've added 3 fitted long sleeve tops, so a black v-neck collared long sleeve, a black off-shoulder rib knit, and a cropped cardigan, which also happens to be black. With loose or oversized tops, I've added 6 of them to my capsule, so 3 button-downs in different colors, a black sweatshirt, an ivory round neck sweater, and a blue v-neck sweater with some distressed details. I also added 6 different bottoms, so 2 pairs of sweatpants, 1 in black denim and the other in this oatmeal knit material, a pair of leopard print pants, 2 pairs of maternity trousers in colors black and brown, and also a black maxi skirt. And then with dresses, I added a black wrap maxi dress, a sleeveless ribbed maxi dress, and a brown collared maxi dress with an open slit in the front. So that adds up to 21 items so far for my inner layers, and this is where I wanted to keep the list as small and simple as possible because I knew I was going to utilize this capsule throughout fall, winter, and even early spring, which means I'll always be wearing a jacket on top. And jackets and shoes is where I wanted to add the most variety to make the wardrobe feel less boring and repetitive without investing a lot into maternity specific items. So I decided to add 10 jackets, which I know is quite a bit for a capsule wardrobe, but this range from my spring and fall jackets that are made with thinner materials all the way to my winter jackets and coats that are obviously heavier. Now, I live in Vancouver where we have pretty mild winters compared to the rest of the country. So even my thinner spring and fall jackets, I can still make them work for colder seasons if I layer properly. So for that reason, I also decided to add 2 more items, a lightweight down vest and a down long sleeve jacket to wear as an in-between layer between my inner layers and my jackets. And then shoes, like I said before, I thought could be another area where I could add more variety to my outfits. So I also decided to add 10 pairs of shoes, ranging from clog styles to different styles and colors of runners and boots. So that brings up the total number to 43 items, and this excludes any bags or accessories or jewelry. And similar to jackets and shoes, I thought this could be another area where I can add more variety. I mean, as somebody who is not a fan of capsule wardrobes, I just wanted as many options as possible in areas where the fit of the item is not going to strictly depend on my changing body. I also don't have that many bags or accessories like hats or scarves, I have a video actually where I talk about the 5 different bags that I rotate through. So I'll provide a link for that video up here in case you're interested as well. So I decided not to count any of my accessories into my capsule because the main goal for me here is not to practice minimalism, but it's more so for my own physical comfort and also to minimize spending without feeling too frumpy or bored with my style. And I feel like jackets, shoes, accessories is where I have the freedom. So I counted up to jackets and shoes, but accessories I didn't. Had I counted all of my bags, hats, scarves, things like that, I think the total number would have come out to around 60 items. Now here's everything that's been working out well for me so far. And the first one is maybe the most obvious one, which is having underlayers that are actually long enough in length. Because I haven't added that many pairs of maternity specific bottoms. I've just been rolling down the elasticated waistbands on my regular pants to make them more low rise. And having an underlayer that's long enough to cover that has been great. I can even tuck in the top into the rolled waistband just to make it stay in place, without it rolling up and exposing my belly all the time. Another good choice I thought was adding those lightweight down vest and jacket into my capsule. It just allows me to wear the jackets that are usually too thin for the current weather, and it lets me play around with more variety. And I know it only really works because of the mild weather conditions that we have here. Like, had I been living on the East Coast, I probably wouldn't be able to do that so easily, so I'm very grateful. Also, having a variety of fits in my bottoms is working well for me. I have a couple straight fits, a barrel fit, and I also have a skirt option. So all of this just makes things feel less redundant. And I can also play around with which shoes go with which fit of bottoms and stuff like that. So that's fun. Choosing specific styles of dresses that pair well with pants underneath was also a good idea. I mean, with the colder weather and my immune system being weaker than usual, I always want to prioritize being warm and cozy. So being able to layer in multiple ways, like wearing pants underneath or wearing heat tech underneath without adding too much bulk, has been a game changer. And then lastly, choosing items with an adjustable fit and stretchy materials has been crucial. So for example, the black wrap dress I have has been great throughout the different stages of my changing body because the fit is easily adjustable. I also think ribbed materials don't feel as much like the fabric has stretched out permanently, and that just makes me feel a little bit more relieved that I haven't completely ruined my clothes and I'll still be able to wear them post-pregnancy. I mean, hopefully. We don't know for sure yet, but we'll find out soon enough. Now, here are some things that I wouldn't do again, or I would be more careful the next time around. And the first thing is choosing the length of tops. And I know I just talked about having a longer length as your underlayer is a great option, but for items like button downs, I actually think that too long of a length looks kind of awkward because as your belly starts to pop out more, tucking in the top doesn't look as natural. And I usually like buttoning my shirts all the way down and doing like a half tuck like any millennial would, but I haven't been able to do that as much because it just doesn't look that great with low rise and it sort of cuts my body in half proportionally. So I've just been wearing these shirts with everything open in the front more often. And to be honest, I feel like I've been reaching for my button downs a little less in general. Another thing I'd pay more attention to next time is choosing fabrics because certain fabrics really make the belly itchy. I mean, the skin is just more sensitive in general, and the belly area especially is already itchy because it's being stretched out. So the fabrics that I've been okay with in the past, they just make more contact with the midsection in general, and that's been more bothersome for me. So these days I always have to wear a base layer underneath my sweaters, especially for materials like alpaca or even wool. Even though I was okay with wearing them alone before, now I have to make sure that at least my midsection is covered with a different material that's not as irritating. So So that's just something I'd pay a little bit more attention to next time. Obviously, there are ways around it, but it's just something I'll think a little more carefully about. Now, to make things less boring, apart from using a wider variety of jackets, shoes, and accessories, I've also been playing around with different styling methods. These days, there are so many styling methods that are popping up and going viral, and I think they're really great for drawing inspiration with what you already own without having to invest in new things. So to give you some ideas on what's been working really well for me style-wise, I'll show you some outfits that I've been wearing quite frequently using 10 different styling methods. The first styling method I'm using is the big slim skin rule, which was introduced by Amy Smilovic from the brand Tibi. So the rule here is when you're wearing an oversized piece, you should pair it with something slim and show some skin in order to balance the outfit. So I've got my black oversized sweatpants here. So in order to bring some balance, I'm gonna wear a fitted black collared v-neck on top. So that covers both the slim and the skin element. It's slim because it's fitted and it's showing quite a bit of skin through the deep v-neck and the cleavage. I'm also wearing my hair up just so the skin around my neckline is more clearly visible. And usually I'll throw on my puffer jacket here on top. This item is oversized, but it also does add a bit of a slim element because of the cinched waistband. The next styling method is using a statement piece, and this is pretty self-explanatory. You choose one area or an item to make a statement with. So I'm gonna keep my black sweatpants, but I've switched out the top to this black oversized sweatshirt and a white tee underneath. I like an oversized on oversized look, especially in my current physical state. I also have a navy jacket on top and a black scarf, so everything is pretty dark here, and the red sneakers is gonna be the obvious statement piece. I could also switch out the shoes to my black Adidas runners and use a pop of color with this mustard beanie as a statement piece instead. The third styling method I'm using is the sandwich method. So the rule is to match some part of the top with some part of the bottom. Kind of like two pieces of bread in a sandwich, and you can match them through either colors or proportions. And obviously for your sandwich filling, you want to throw something a little bit different in the middle. So I've got the same base outfit with the black sweatshirt and the sweatpants and the navy jacket. I'm throwing on a red scarf instead to match with the red sneakers. And I'm finishing the outfit with a gray cap with this small red lettering, just for a little extra something. The next method is the 60-30-10 rule. So the rule is having 60% of your outfit made up with one color, 30% with a second color, and 10% with a third color. Again, I've got the same base outfit making up about 60% with the black and the navy. I feel like the black and navy are dark and similar enough, but I could easily switch out the navy jacket to a black if I truly wanted to make everything just one solid color. And then I've wrapped around this teal sweater around the shoulder as a scarf. This is a cashmere sweater that my husband never wears, so I started using it as an accessory. And then I threw on a dark green beanie. It's not the exact same color as the sweater, but I feel like it's kind of within the same color family, so those two items make up 30% of the second color. And I've got my Uggs here for that remaining 10% of the third color, but I could really go with any other colored shoes. For example, I've got these burgundy fisherman sandals, which I can wear with socks throughout fall and spring. Maybe not throughout the winter times, but you get the point. Next, we have the 7-point method. So the rule for this method is all of the items you wear must add up to at least 7 points. And your basics count as 1 point, while your accent items count as 2 points. So for my outfit here, I've got my leopard print pants, which I would count as 2 points because the leopard print is something that's a little bit outside of the basic. And then the ivory oversized sweater counts as 1 point. The Blundstones and the brown trench coat are both pretty basic, so I'll give each of them 1 point. And then with the red bag, because it's a stronger pop of color, I'd like to give it 2 points, but since it's a pretty basic shape, if we were to count that as 1 point, I can always add something more basic like a black scarf here to make up the 7 points. Next, we have the wrong shoe theory, which was introduced by stylist Alison Bornstein, and the rule is to purposefully pick shoes that feel wrong for the outfit. So I've got a pretty similar outfit to my last one here. here, but I just switched out the top to black. I still have the brown trench coat and the red bag. The only thing I've added is a gray hat here. So everything is feeling pretty casual, but I've decided to go with these pointy suede ankle boots for my shoes, which feel a bit more formal than the rest of the outfit. And I think this brings nice balance to the outfit by adding a little bit of edge to the overall look. Next, we have the primary colors method, which I've talked about several times in my previous videos before. Here we're trying to balance the outfit by incorporating variations of all three primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. So with this outfit, I've got the blue with my v-neck sweater, and the leopard print pants and the trench coat are both brown. And brown is a derivative of orange, which is a combination of red and yellow. So technically, we've already got all three primary colors here, but I'm just gonna add a little bit more yellow with wearing these Uggs, and also a little bit more red with this red bag. Some more styling methods using colors here. The really popular one is the 3-color rule, where you stick to using 3 colors within the outfit to make the outfit more polished, clean, minimal, and cohesive. And I'll show you a few different variations using the same base. So I've got this ivory knit and the oatmeal sweatpants. They're slightly different colors, but I'd say they're similar enough to be counted as one color. And I'm gonna throw on my brown maxi coat on top as my second color, and then I'm bringing in a third color using the teal sweater I used before to wrap around the shoulder as a scarf. For accessories, I'm wearing my black suede boots and the black shoulder bag. In my opinion, black doesn't really count as a separate color because it's a neutral base. So when I'm using the 3-color rule, if I'm using black accessories especially, I try not to count that as a separate color of its own. But if I wanted to, I could get rid of the scarf and the bag, and I could switch out the shoes to my Uggs, add a mustard beanie here, and now the 3rd color being used in this outfit is yellow. Or since the Uggs are technically brown, I could remove the beanie and just add a red scarf or a red bag here to use red as my 3rd color. Another styling method that I really like is the tone-on-tone or the monochromatic color scheme. And the rule again is pretty self-explanatory. You're wearing a range of shades from one color family. So with this outfit, I've got my brown maxi dress with an open slit in the front. I've got a darker pair of brown maternity pants here, and I'm throwing on my brown maxi coat. And again, I'm finishing the outfit with my black suede boots and the black shoulder bag as accessories. Like I said, I don't really consider black as a separate color, and I think this look overall, even though the accessories are black, it still looks like a monochromatic outfit. And then we've got the tone-and-tone method, where instead of wearing a range of shades from one color family, you're wearing various colors from different color families, but they all fall within the same depth range. So here I've got my burgundy fisherman sandals again with socks. The burgundy is a pretty deep shade of red, so I'm matching the depth with this green velvet button down, and I'm just wearing my black maxi skirt with my brown maxi coat, which is again the same level of depth as the shoes and the top. And I can finish the outfit with this red scarf or my red bag, both of which are pretty deep reds. So those are some outfits I've been wearing a lot using 10 popular styling methods, and I purposefully tried using the same items a lot here. I know the video topic was about a maternity capsule wardrobe, but as you've seen, these outfit ideas are not maternity specific either. So hopefully they gave you some ideas and inspiration on how to style your own outfits using these methods. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you in my next one. Until then, stay unique and stay gorgeous.